Welcome back, everyone, to this episode. I'm super grateful you are tuning in today. Very important topic we have today, which is all about alignment. I think that's quite a buzzword these days. And in particular, in human design, we use this word a lot. And on my now 5+ year journey with human design and really having contemplated the system a lot, and also especially the traditional teachings, and how my own interpretation has evolved out of it. I have a lot to share about how we have to be careful with certain things. And if you just blindly follow something because, oh, the system says so, it can actually limit us more than anything else. And the topic of alignment here plays a very important role. I did a reel the other day on my Instagram, and literally one of you guys was like, do a podcast on it. And I was like, yeah, I have a lot to say about this. And I honestly had already thought about it. I could actually do a little bit of a longer video about this. So here we are. One thing with alignment, it's something I think we're all after, but then we also like, what does this really mean? You know, one of my mentors says that alignment is when your words, your actions, and how you feel, it's all in alignment. And oftentimes, yeah, we have a goal, we want to accomplish something, but the actions we're taking and how we're feeling doesn't align with that. But it's not something we can just force. And the real magic happens when we can lovingly accept the part of us that is not in alignment, where you're not doing the thing even though you have a particular goal, where you know you have to take a certain action, or where how you feel is not aligned with what you really want to manifest in your life. And in human design, there's a very particular area where this comes out very, very strongly, and I hope this will clarify a lot of things for you. So we have these 5 archetypes in human design. We have the manifestor, we have the reflector, the projector, the generator, and the manifesting generator. And there are some terms which you may have heard about. One is called the not self theme, and then we also have the signature theme. And as an example, let's use the generator archetype. The not self theme is called frustration, and the signature theme is called satisfaction. And people easily start to understand that, oh, if I'm frustrated, I'm in my not self, that's a bad thing. Or if you're a projector, the not self theme is bitterness, and the signature theme is success. So when you feel bitter and you beat yourself up, that's where the problem is, the beating up part. It's not the bitterness in itself, right? Or for the manifester, the not self theme is anger, and the signature theme is called peace. What's really, really important here is that your not self theme is actually where all the magic is. That's what you want to first of all celebrate. It's very similar to the teachings also from the gene keys, where we have these 3 levels of consciousness, where the gift is in the shadow. If you're trying to bypass the shadow, it's not going to do much for you. It's also this ancient wisdom that you may have heard over and over again, that what you resist persists. So if you're resisting your not self theme, and by the way, even though you're this one type per your human design chart, all of the not self themes in some way apply to all of us. For me, in my world, we are a blend of all of the types. This is something I go into much more depth in my intuitive human design certification, which opens up for enrollment very soon, by the way, or when you're listening to it. Check it in the show notes. So, not self themes. Let's talk about all of them. It's frustration. We learned this from the generator archetypes, the mani-gen as well. Anger from the manifester, disappointment from the reflector archetype, and then bitterness from the projector. I think we all have experienced those in our life. Maybe right now you're like, oh my God, I'm so frustrated. That's great. You want to really look at that frustration. You want to really look at that part of you that's angry or bitter or disappointed. That's really where the whole inner healing work happens, where we do the deconditioning, right? So human design is this beautiful tool that gives us awareness of where we are, yes, out of alignment. But in order to be aligned, we have to work with a part of us where we're not aligned. Yeah. And so your not self theme is not a bad thing. The only question is, are you resisting that part of you? Are you pushing that part of you away? And are you trying to kind of force yourself into the other themes? And this is often also what we have with this toxic positivity in the self-development world, right? Where it's about, yeah, I just focus on all the good feelings and da 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 da. And that's not inherently bad. That is actually great. But if that is causing you to push away the parts of you that is actually feeling things that are not feeling really comfortable, then you're actually creating more of that rather than what you trying so hard in a forced way to focus on. So I wanted to sit with that for a moment because there's a very big difference when you're in a state of, having really spent some time with a part of you that is in these not self themes, the parts of you that, are more in the energy of misalignment, of frustration, of anger and disappointment and bitterness and right? And when you do that, you will naturally find that with so much more ease, you actually get to focus more on higher vibrational frequencies of satisfaction, of peace, surprise, and success more frequently than if you're trying to ignore and push away these not self themes. And the biggest magic that I have experienced in my own life and also in the work with my clients is when we do this inner shadow work, what we call deconditioning in human design, where we talk about our fears. And by the way, all of these not self themes, frustration, anger, disappointment, bitterness, they have all one thing in common. It's fears. All of the 64 gene keys in the shadow frequency, they're all fears. And we could probably make it very, very simple and say that it's one big fear that is at the root of everything. It's often that fear of not belonging, the fear that you're not wanted, fear of rejection, not being loved, not being liked. And so frustration, anger, disappointment, and bitterness, right? I think we all express it in different ways, or it comes up for us in different ways. It's our way of noticing that there is a wound. Somehow I feel like I don't belong in this world, or I have such a big fear of rejection. Always have this need to prove myself and things like that, right? So the shortcut again is really to be loving and to be compassionate with those parts of you. And I do find oftentimes it's much more powerful when we do this in a group or sometimes therapy is super helpful where we can share these parts of us and we learn to become more accepting of these parts that are part of being a human. And as an example, I'm a generator archetype, and let me tell you, I resonate with all of the signature and not self themes of all of the types, and I've definitely experienced them all. But let's talk right now about frustration. When I experience frustration in my life, I know that's a good thing because there wants to be more satisfaction coming through in my life. It's almost also in Kabbalah, we say that the light wants to come through. In order for the light, the satisfaction to come through for me, there has to be this pressure put on me of the darkness, of the shadow, of the frustration, but dissatisfaction. And when I can fully receive this, and in Kabbalah, we have this beautiful saying of pause, what a pleasure. Like, really invite this frustration. What a pleasure. What is this teaching me? What am I here to learn from this? what amazing light and amount of satisfaction wants to be revealed to me, that's when the magic starts to happen. So I feel like oftentimes we have this really, really backwards, right? We think there's something wrong with us, and then we ignore that part of us, we reject it, we try to bypass it, and then we wonder why this whole system, in this case, human design, is not working or doesn't give us the results we're looking for because we are forcefully focusing on the positive aspects while we are resisting what's really going on under the surface, right? And I just recently went through a lot of frustration, especially in the context of my business. There were a lot of things I was like, I no longer want to do this. I want to simplify things. And it was really good because if I wouldn't have been so frustrated with a lot of things or dissatisfied, I really felt like, not sure I want to continue doing it this way. Now I have found my satisfaction again. And yeah, it took a little while. Sometimes this phase of blandness and takes a little bit longer. It really depends on how quickly we can fully embrace this part of us. And also anger, for example, I think it's often labeled as something bad in general. But there are also many, many gene keys that talk about anger, and that's one of the more extroverted part of the shadows of several energies in the chart, not only the manifester. And when you can healthily express your anger, one of the ways I love to do that is with EFT tapping, just by myself, or screaming into a pillow, or journaling it out, shaking it off, dancing. It's energy that wants to be moved. Yeah, you know what's on the other side is a lot of calmness and a very quite peaceful energy. And the more anger that I have allowed myself to face and process, the more powerful, also the more confident I feel, especially as a woman and, being in my own authority. It's an ongoing process, obviously. But the biggest mistake for me was always, and I think it's not even a mistake, it's a learning lesson when I judged myself for feeling angry, when I judged myself for being frustrated, or when I was disappointed. Whilst this is the one thing, this not self theme that we want to celebrate, that we want to get very curious about, because guess what? That is your access point to spend more and more time in the signature theme of satisfaction, of peace, surprise, success. And again, these are the terminologies that, human design has given to us. And again, I want to also invite you to reflect on these right now. Is frustration more of a theme that's coming up for you? Is it anger? Is it disappointment? Is it bitterness? Or a little bit of all? That's okay, right? You don't have to think that just because per my human design chart, I'm this type, I can only feel one of these, because then we can also, on top of it, push things away. There's really an overlap with all of these 5 archetypes. To give you another example, my chart says again that I'm a generator, but the majority of my energies in my chart are projected energies. And I resonate a lot, like lots and lots and lots with the projector archetype. And whatever archetype you resonate with, and then those not self and signature themes, just trust that you have a resonance there, and there's probably a lot for you to uncover. And it can be that for some time, there's one particular self theme that really stands out. Maybe that's the anger from the manifestor part. And go into that. Don't think that, oh, no, because I'm a generator, I'm a projector, like that's wrong. I cannot feel anger, right? No, we're humans. So we never want to see anything in human design black or white. That's really, really important. And I know that can so easily happen, right? Because we have this idea of these 5 types. I'm this and I'm not that. No, it's always like this and. And This is one of the things also in my teachings and also in particular in my human design certification, where we really go into the depth of the human design chart. It's almost like your human design type is just that access point that I know so many of us really resonate with some particular message there. If that's, oh, you're being multi-passionate, or you're here to do what lights you up, or you need to rest more. And then over time, you realize that, oh, yeah, this also applies to me and from this type as well, you know? And where the real magic is in human design for me is really in the depth of the gates and the themes and the story in each unique chart. And then we also have life cycles and many aspects of it. And then, in particular, the awareness that our unique chart brings us to show us where we are in these not self themes, right? We have the not self theme for the 5 types in human design, but we also have these shadows or not self themes for the human design centers and the gates and the channels. However, what I often see in human design is that rather seeing it from that perspective as a whole, people get caught up with, oh, I have this undefined, and that's more often how people think where we are in the shadow. Or if I have it defined, then I'm good. That's not the case. You can have a center defined or undefined, and you can still be in the not self theme of the center. Yeah, it's more about how we learn and become wise over time, where the bigger differentiation is between defined and undefined in the chart. So I hope this helps you to be more compassionate with yourself and really use human design as a tool to give you awareness of where you're not aligned so that it gives you the opportunity to work on that to be more aligned with what your heart, your soul's purpose really wants you to step more into. Because you have these amazing, unique gifts that nobody has. I mean, you could be doing the same thing as I do, like all my clients that are also now becoming intuitive human design teachers. Yeah, I taught them everything that I'm doing, but they will do it in their own unique way. They will attract a whole different group of people in the world that resonate with their energy, with how they are articulating these words. And yeah, we can say similar things, but it will always be very unique, right? Or maybe you are all into publishing books, or you are doing music, or about gardening and cooking healthy foods and writing cookbooks about it. There's so many wonderful talents that the variety of humans brings into this world, which is exactly what we need. And I feel that the more time I spend with these misaligned parts of me, and I can really see them as a gift, all this alignment just starts to bubble from within myself. And I'm more and more connected to, I think, the purest essence that I came here for, right? Where I'm really boldly sharing my gifts without constantly holding back or being afraid that other people are going to judge me. Yeah. So this felt like a very, very important message because human design, after all, on any tool that's out there, right? There's so many different ones. It's never here to label you. It's never here to limit yourself. It's never here to tell you what you can or cannot do. For me, it is merely an awareness tool that can help you become more aligned by really spending some quality time with that inner child, that wounded inner child, and being loving and being compassionate with that part of you. And with that, as we do this work, we naturally have more confidence. We believe more in ourselves. We have a heightened sense of self-worth. We are more confident. Maybe I said that already. Amplify confidence. And then we more boldly share the gifts that we were given because I believe that's our unique purpose here. It's not like the job description, like in terms of what's your purpose. It's where you can be really your most authentic self, where you are not holding back. You're speaking your truth. And it's always like your intention behind it because sometimes you have a really, really good intention, And it may trigger the heck out of people. That's actually a good thing because you're giving them an opportunity to have their not self themes triggered and actually go into that. But it's also not your responsibility that they're willing to do that, right? That's why I'm so passionate about creating awareness about that these not self themes, which often come out when we get triggered, right? And there's always so much gold then to step into more alignment of these signature themes. So, my big message for you is really receive these parts of you that you consider as the not self in human design, right? The shadow part. Because the more you can do that, the much more ease and joy you will experience in your life from spending more and more time in these signature frequencies, which again, the types of signature frequencies, the human design centers have these higher signature frequencies, the gates and the channels and all of it. And you have all of the charts, just like in astrology, we are a blend of all of the signs. It's not this or that. Again, it's this and. And whatever helps you as a confirmation to trust yourself more and to be more in your power, in your true essence. And for me, like human design does that really on a very profound level over and over again, then use it for that. And you can also combine it with different kind of tools. Just be really, really aware that you don't ever let any kind of tool system, whatever it's called, limit you in any way or form because the world needs your most authentic essence. And even if you may think, oh, what's so special about it? Believe me, it can change people's life. And that also always starts with just one person. So if you're that one person listening today and it helped you in a tremendous way, then my pleasure, you're welcome. I'm happy if that's the case. And if you feel called to share this message with others, then I also invite you to do that. And if you are also called to check out the Intuitive Human Design Teacher Training and Certification that is launching at the end of October 2025, you will find all the details here in the show notes. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to me. And if it's a really grounded body yes for you, then I would love, love to welcome you for this next cohort because that's where the real transformation happens. Because we're actually applying all the things that I just talked about, right? Information alone doesn't give us the results. Like we read a book, right? And then we forget all about it. It's the people that take one piece of information and they actually keep repeating it and doing it over and over again. And then they really become masterful at that. And that's how you really start to embody your human design in a way where you naturally more and more in alignment with the signature themes in your chart. That's really what it's all about. With that, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And I'm super excited to be back with you all on the next episode. Ciao, everyone.